Here are 7 things you need to consider when building or bolstering your boundaries as a homeschool mom. If we haven't met, my name is Teresa. I'm a certified life coach and homeschool mentor serving the homeschool moms in the homeschool community. You can find me at www.capturingthecharmedlife.com. Why build boundaries? I've noticed in my homeschool days that we build boundaries, we bolster our boundaries because we want to clarify what our needs are and meet them. We want to bolster our relationships, both to ourselves and to other people. And we want to give space to become more us. And at the end of our homeschool day, we want to feel like we are enjoying our homeschool mom life. We're satisfied in what we're doing. We have a sense of well-being, and we feel like we're not losing our minds. The first thing we want to consider when building or bolstering our homeschool mama boundaries is to ask ourselves how we're managing our time. Do we feel like a chicken with its head cut off? By the way, I have chickens, so I have seen that, and it's not really pleasant. And it definitely feels like the homeschool mom life at times if we haven't learned to manage our time. That's why I have a time audit, which helps us to learn how to time block, to decide what's most important in our lives, to include those things, also to put margins around those things, and determine whether certain things can go, if we need to include certain things, how much time certain things take. Also, whether we should allow interruptions, whether we should put an alarm clock on certain activities so we don't spend all day doing them, or putting them into a day timer so that we actually do them. We need to determine how we engage time in our homeschool mom lives. The second thing we need to consider is whether we have quiet time and alone time. We need to have quiet time alone, and not just in a grocery store. And not with kids around. There's a different quality to our alone time when the kids are with us and when we're away. Probably the one advantage of schooling our kids is that they are away and we get to every once in a while bring them back into our family life so we can look at them and say, it's so nice to see you. And that's not always our experience if we're homeschooling because they're with us all the time. We take them for granted. They take us for granted. Even if it's 15 minutes, and you are able to leave your kids at home with your partner, with your mom, with a friend, at another friend's house, so you can go for a walk or a run around the block or do your own thing for a very short period of time. That time away will serve you. The third thing to consider is how you are using your devices. Yeah, girlfriend, I am calling you out because I have been there when I was on Facebook at the same time I was doing things with my kids, trying to teach them a math lesson or even just trying to spend time with them. And that's not really eyeball to eyeball time, one-on-one connected time with our kids. That is not putting all of our energy to our children and to the activities that we're pursuing with them in the moment. Sometimes we need to put our screens away too. The fifth thing we need to consider is how we're looking after ourselves, our self-care, our wellness, our intentions towards ourselves. We look after our children and many other people outside of our homeschool families, and we don't always notice that we also have some needs. And our self-care, our wellness is non-negotiable. It's not necessarily a trip to the spa, but it is setting aside time to do things that you need because you are a human too, and humans have needs. The sixth thing to consider is to learn how to relate to other people when they don't agree with your homeschool choice, or whether they're homeschool supportive or not, or various other challenges we might have with those around us. How do we address boundary breaking? How do we address conflict? How do we address relationship issues? What do we do about it? is how you are relating to yourself. By far, the most challenging element of the Building and Bolstering Boundaries group coaching program that I engage in a discussion in, because it is a lifelong practice, learning how to speak kindly to ourselves, to forgive ourselves, give grace to ourselves when we have actually made significant moments of disrepair that we actually need to repair. We may have made mistakes we didn't even know we made until months or years later. All sorts of possibilities in this discussion about learning to self-soothe and instill self-compassion strategies so you can relate kindly to you. And the seventh thing to consider when building or bolstering boundaries for homeschool moms is to do a regular assessment to determine whether you are indeed building or bolstering your boundaries. You can use my Building Boundaries checklist. You'll find that down below. Or you can use different tools like life coaching with me, finding a gentle accountability partner in your homeschool mom group. Perhaps there's another seasoned, experienced homeschool mom in your area who you can ask to have regular contact with and ask them to help grow in this area. Certainly, you can use journaling as this device. I offer a Building Boundaries journaling workbook to dig deep into the challenges that you might have or to get clear on the ones you already have. Just intend to regularly review and assess your building or your bolstered or built and rebuilt boundaries. And there you have it, Homeschool Mama, the 7 things that you need to consider when you want to bolster or build boundaries in your homeschool mama life. You want to assume that you are assessing your boundaries. You can ensure that you will get your needs met. If you do, you'll live proactively and more authentically. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with another homeschool mom that you think would find it valuable too. Remember, you girlfriend, you got this, and you are not alone on this homeschool mom journey. That's why I'm here. Thank you for joining me today. Until next week, I hope you and your kids can turn your homeschool challenges into your homeschool charms.